Silence isn't empty, that's the first thing you learn. Before we begin, if you enjoy slow, uncomfortable horror stories, subscribe now. Because this story is about realizing that silence can notice you back. I wanted quiet, that's how it started. A simple desire to unplug from the world. No television humming in the next room, no phone buzzing with notifications, no distant traffic or neighbors' music. Just pure, absolute silence. I craved it like a starving man craves food. I imagined it would be a cleansing experience, a way to reset my mind, to hear my own thoughts without interruption. When I finally achieved it, it felt exactly like that. At first, the initial wave of quiet washed over me, and it felt clean. It was like stepping into a freshly sanitized room where every surface was sterile and untouched. The air itself seemed to have been wiped free of any acoustic residue. I could feel the absence of sound as a physical presence, a kind of pristine emptiness that was both calming and invigorating. I would sit for hours, just existing in this state. The silence felt precise, like a perfectly cut diamond. Every edge was sharp, every facet defined. It wasn't just a lack of noise. It was a constructed void, deliberate and whole. But the silence didn't stay neutral for long. That clean, precise feeling began to change, to warp. It started subtly. I'd be sitting in my chair, enjoying the stillness, and I'd get the distinct impression that the silence wasn't just asterisk around asterisk me anymore. It felt shaped. As if the emptiness had taken on a form, had developed edges and contours that hadn't been there before. It was no longer a passive environment. It felt active, like it was conforming to the space in a new, unsettling way. I tested this feeling almost subconsciously at first. I would hold my breath, and in that moment of absolute stillness on my part, the silence would feel like it was pressing closer. It was a tangible pressure, a weight in the air that seemed to intensify, to focus on me. Then, when I'd exhale or shift my weight, the pressure would release. The silence would loosen its grip, retreating slightly, giving me room to breathe. It was a bizarre dance. My movement dictated its proximity. The less I moved, the less I breathed, the more it encroached. That's when I started listening. And I don't mean listening for a sound, a creak in the floorboards, or a whisper on the wind. I was listening for the silence itself. Listening for the asterisk change asterisk in it. I was trying to map its behavior, to understand its strange, elastic quality. And that's when it reacted. Not by making a sound. Nothing ever became louder. Instead, the silence became more specific. It was like adjusting the focus on a camera lens. The general ambient quiet sharpened into something hyper-defined, something that had a target. And the target was me. I realized it was a feedback loop. When I focused my attention on the silence, trying to perceive its shape and texture, it responded by deepening. The feeling of pressure would intensify. The quiet becoming so profound, it felt like it was absorbing all potential sound, all light, all thought. It was a heavy, suffocating blanket of nothing. But the moment I forced my mind away, the moment I tried to relax and think about something else, the silence would thin out. It would become less dense, less immediate, retreating back to the edges of my perception. It wasn't random, this was a direct response. It was a conversation without words. Slowly, painfully, I learned the rule. It was a simple, horrifying rule. As long as I didn't listen for it, as long as I treated the silence as a mere absence of noise, nothing happened. It remained a passive, neutral background. But the instant I acknowledged it, the moment I expected something from it, the moment my mind reached out to probe its depths, the silence answered. It would lean in, focus, and let me know it was aware of my attention. My expectation was its invitation. My listening was its trigger. I had to test it. I had to know the limits. I started introducing noise back into the house. I turned on music, loud and jarring. I switched on every fan, creating a whirlwind of mechanical humming. I even played recordings of pure white static, filling every corner of every room with a meaningless, chaotic hiss. I thought maybe I could drown it, push it back, erase it. But the noise was just a layer on top. The silence waited underneath. It was patient, unmoving. It was like a predator hiding in the undergrowth, completely still, waiting for the commotion to pass. And the second the noise stopped, the instant I clicked off the stereo or the fan, it was already there, waiting. And it always felt closer than before. The noise hadn't banished it. It had only made the silence more eager, more present when it finally returned. I began to understand what it wanted. It wasn't interested in sound or the absence of sound. It fed on attention. My focus was its nourishment. Listening wasn't just an act of perception. It was an act of permission. By trying to hear it, I was giving it a doorway into my awareness. Silence was the interface. It was the medium through which this thing could interact with me. The more I paid attention to the quiet, the more I fed it, and the stronger its presence became. And that's why I can't sleep in a quiet house anymore. That's why I'm telling you this. At night, when the world outside grows still, I have to leave something on. A television in the other room, a podcast playing softly, a fan whirring in the corner, anything, any small, insignificant noise to stand guard. Because I know with a certainty that chills me to my core that the moment everything goes truly quiet, the moment I am left alone in the stillness, the silence listens back. Some things don't speak. They don't need to. They just wait for you to stop making noise so they can have your full attention. If this story unsettled you, like the video, and subscribe for more from When Lights Out. Stay safe, and whatever you do, don't listen too closely to the quiet.